allow the two children to attend the budget every year.
It's okay. Off your mind. It's okay.
She
off your mind.
like me.
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk truth to power don off mic. And if we talk, na 500,000 they go sama us, call am hate speech. But fear not, Mayegun don come. Him go torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people wey dey spoil our country. So my people make we loud, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Mayegun diary politico, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. This one na dey off in mind, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. And in the touchlight every corner, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Okay, some people be dey holla say dem want the power. Chai, dem be promise us say we go get light and power. Dem hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over naira. Still them talk say make we off mind. But thank God say Mayegun don come. So my people make you loud, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Mayegun diary politico, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. This one not dey off in mind, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Person wey dey do evil no wan make person talk. Them say that Mayegun, that man too dey talk. He too dey talk. Say Mayegun diary, he dey hot like pepper. But every day, then they take money in bulk. Poor man pikin dey the street dey hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say Mayegun don come. So my people make you loud, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. My people make you shout, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary Nayibi number one. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary Nayibi number one. Mayegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú. Mayegun diary Nayibi number one. Lórí Facebook lórí YouTube. Mayegun diary Nayibi number one. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Mayegun diary Nayibi number one. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun diary Nayibi number one. Bó bá ṣe eré àní Mayegun máa wí. Mayegun diary Nayibi number one. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun diary Nayibi number one. Mayegun diary politico. Mayegun diary Nayibi number one. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun. Mayegun diary Nayibi number one. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Mayegun diary Nayibi number one. Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary Nayibi number one. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Mayegun ti dé. àní èso lájú.
Máyégún ti dé.
Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní èso lájú.
Máyégún ti dé.
Bíjó ìgbádìyẹ.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní èso lájú.
Máyégún ti dé.
Pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní èso lájú.
Máyégún ti dé.
Bí gómìnà kówó jẹ.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní èso lájú.
Máyégún ti
Hello there, brethren. So good morning to you. Good afternoon to you. And a good evening to you from wherever you are joining us. It is Mayegun live. And thank you very much if you have done the following already. After reading the caption of the broadcast, read the description of the broadcast. Yeah, the body. Then like it, share it. Invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends, and tell them that Mayegun today, Mayegun is live. So, in the last few days, we have been, or I have been monitoring the Rogbodiyan between the Edo people, especially the Benin people in Edo State, concerning the title of Iyaloja, General of Edo State. A title that is said to be alien to the culture and tradition of the people of Edo State. So the champion of this is no other than Tinubu's daughter, Folashade Tinubu, who is a self-acclaimed Iyaloja General of Nigeria. She inherited the title from her own adopted grandmother, Abibatu Mogaji, who was the Iyaloja General of Lagos. But the last few years, we have been inundated with the conspiracy. Then they used to be conspiracy, but not anymore. Conspiracy of Tinubu attempting to take over Lagos and take over Edo. And that is when they started this Edo no be Lagos talk. And it went political. At the end of the day, today, Okwe Odoyo, the Dodoyo governor of Edo State, is the handmaid of Tinubu, if you would agree. But if you don't, that's fine. However, the market women were those who first protested that they received a circular that sort of like compelled them or ordered them to get ready to join Folashade's national market women sort of like body. The one that she is pushing using the influence of her father, who is the president of Nigeria. So they resisted, they protested, they went to the Oba, they said, no, that is alien to them. Iyaloja or Iyaloja General. So they have what they call the Iyeki. It's called Iyeki. I think I pronounced that right. Iyeki in Edo, which is the title for the market women leader. You know, that the leader of the market. But the way they operate in Lagos is mostly for political reason, as well as for personal gains, so to say. So there is a kind of like a monetary sort of like extortion that comes with control of the market in this sense. So for somebody to be doing that from Lagos is so kind of like far-fetched, but there is no how far that the Tinubu's can't go to start with. So they protested to the Oba, and Oba assured them that no, there's nothing like that. The market women and men should go and appoint their leaders and do their thing. So I think this now brought division because, of course, those who are willing and ready to subscribe to Folashade's proposal, they were actually the ones who were pushing it in Edo. And they've got the upper hand. They've got the federal backing. They've got the state governor's backing. His wife was there. So yesterday they went on to inaugurate the new Iyaloja General of Edo State, which in their defense, right? Well, if you don't want to call her Iyaloja, you can call her Iyeki General then. Now, it's still the same thing. There's no difference, but people who are very much like, you know, a little bit, they felt so insulted. And the audacity as well, right? So that is ongoing. Some are saying that, well, you know, there's simply pretty much like nothing the Oba of Benin can do. While others are like, you think there's nothing they can do? You will see the blood. She met with Oba of Benin as well. And she told the Oba that she only came to attend the inauguration of the market women stuff. But that's not what happened there. So what happened is the crowning of the new Iyaloja of Edo State. That is where we are going to start from this evening. Sorry, I'm still trying to work my lightings, all right? So it's crazy. I guess if you see that my face is just so shining and sleepy, right? So let's go to Edo State. What triggered whatever it is, you must have read about this online in the last 24 hours. What triggered that? It is Folashade's expansionist agenda, in which they are confident that 60% of the 2.5 million votes that Okonkwo promised Tinubu, the women alone, starting with the market women, they will deliver 60% of that. How? I think like this.
For the Edo State Market Women Association, delivering the governor's speech, the coordinator office of the First Lady, Mrs. Edesili Okwebulanani, appreciated the market leaders from across the state for coming to grace the event. She said the governor's infrastructural development has helped businesses thrive, especially for market men and women in the state, and extended the governor's warm greetings to the Iyaloja General of Nigeria, Chief Mrs. Folashade Tinubu Ojo, for honoring the Market Women Association with her presence.
And harmony that the Edo State continues to enjoy under distinguished leadership of our governor, His Excellency Senator Monday Okwebulo, aka the man with the shine agenda, who shine. Our vision is huge thriving marketplaces where traders can operate in an atmosphere of peace, fairness, mutual support.
I can't thank you enough. I cannot thank you enough because you really surprised to me and you swept me off my feet. Seriously speaking, I'm not patronizing her. She is a mother. She is motherhood personified.
Others who spoke at the inauguration ceremony were the Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Development, Chief Barrister Bisi Idaomi, Commissioner for Health, Dr. Siri Oshomole, and the Iyeki in Edo State, Mrs. Josephine Ebagwejezeli, who thanked the Governor, Senator Monday Okwebulo, and the First Lady, Mrs. Edesili Okwebulanani, for their leadership, especially in the recognition of the role played by market women in the state.
Under the leadership of His Excellency Senator Monday Okwebulo, this administration remains committed to empowering women economically, socially, and politically. We are strengthening healthcare, improving market infrastructure, and expanding opportunities for small and medium-scale enterprises.
Our month, 30th April 2024, our mother, the mother of the confidence that those 2.5 million votes, 60% of them will come from the women of Edo State.
High Point Drew. The ceremony also
the Lord will give you victory. Whenever you see it, remember that this is the symbol of strength. Thank you so much, I will love you.
The market women has been, in fact, the situation of the market women association has been in a scattered kind of atmosphere. But with the Iyaloja, with her coming to come and inaugurate them, has brought peace and stability.
It was a fantastic event. It was nice.
Joe came to inaugurate the Edo State market women structure. We know how important market women are. They drive the economy of this state. And of course, being Commissioner for Women Affairs, it was up that our First Lady, Mrs. Anani, invited me. I'm pleased to be here to represent the political class. You also saw the state woman leader. So, you know, the leadership of the female NGOs. What this translates to is that in any election that is going to come again, you've seen that women are ready. The 2.5 million votes promised by our boss, His Excellency Governor Monday Paulo, has to come genuinely.
they're not for the adult.
Exactly. So, but you might think, or probably be thinking, what is wrong with that? Well, they said traditionally in Edo State, the women, they will select or elect someone who is going to be their Iyeki. That is the women, the market women leader, right? So once they all agreed, they will now take this person and present her to the Oba of Benin. It is the Oba of Benin that will then make that person the Iyeki of Edo State. So what Folashade did right there is to usurp the traditional power of the Oba of Benin in this sense. Because right now, the person they made the Iyaloja, right, is not wholly accepted, as in, except for the APC. I mean, you know, everything is politics in that place, by the way. And you can hear the ones who happen to be the woman leader, or the women leader, that kept saying the 2.5 million votes, 2.5, because they're going to write that. But events like this is what they are going to use to justify all of that. You see, 2.5 million votes, they are APC kind of people. So Folashade didn't just waltz straight into Edo State. There were willing people. Those ones you saw there, they are the willing people that helped to legitimize that. They are those who show fingers in the eyes of the Oba of Benin, if tradition means anything at all to them. Then what was that? Odigbolo oye na basile wa odigbolo in Edo. I don't get that too. I know that we have the Yorubas part of Edo State as a state. You get that now? And I just don't know if, you know, and I think that is why the Iyaloja thing is so alien to probably majority of them. So now these people can't explain now that Iyaloja, I mean, Iyeki means Iyaloja general too. Others are like, no, that's not what it means. That's not its meaning. So right now, a lot of Edo people, especially in fact, a lot of them, I wanted to say the older, because I've seen the older people reacting, I've seen the younger people reacting, the younger generation reacting like, what the heck is this? How could this even happen? They better call, Tinubu better call his daughter now call out to order, or else what? Eh? That's what you get when you have illegitimate people occupying the position of authority, right? Impunity, nepotism, they are going to be institutionalized, and they have done that already, right? So a lot of them believe that if the Oba of Benin does not recognize you as the Iyaloja, well, you are not Iyaloja anything. But now let me tell you something about the elite, okay? There is a chance that they will then take this person, like when they meet up there, like have all this, they are trying to save themselves the embarrassment and all that. You could just see, say, they release a statement, and that what they did then is not really crowning of Iyaloja. That one was just a ceremony that this person has been chosen. That's why they invited. So they want to really do it now. You will go and see all of them in the palace of Oba of Benin, where they want to now properly crown the Iyeki or Iyaloja, or anything you want to call it, because it is holy politics. And I bet Oba of Benin is probably aware of that too. Should be aware of that as well. Now, talking about politics. Yesterday, we had Tafa Sego. Tafa Sego was seen in a 4-minute clip where he was addressing the NURTW members from a particular part of Lagos. Now, from what he now said, it was purely like threatening those people, through them threatening any and every opposition to call, especially when it comes to 2027. So according to Tafa Sego, they only allowed what happened in 2023 to happen, and it won't happen again. And all of you who are supposed to make sure that it never happens again, I'm putting you on notice now. If we see the sign that you allow these guys to come to your area and, and the opposition to Asiwaju, that is Tinubu, you are gone. I'm going to dissolve all of you. I'm going to remove all of you and put those who can do the job. So then he went on to say that to those of you who are like opposition and all, wherever, right? If we have to kill you, we'll kill you. Lagos is APC. APC is Lagos. And they are not joking with it. They are ready to kill anybody to protect APC interest in Lagos. Only for him to upload another video this morning. What happened? They said that DSS invited him. DSS saw the video too. DSS now said, according to him, he said DSS said that some people are spreading propaganda about him. That is threatening people. That's what DSS told him. It is so similar to the script of MC Olueran in 2023, who ended up saying that, I was only addressing Iya Chukudi. It was Iya Chukudi that I was talking to. It was not anybody, and you all know how that ended, right? You know how everything played out. People died after that threat. You know one thing about Tafa Sego, he is supposed to be a condemned criminal, probably serving a life sentence for some of the people who he's killed, or people who he has actually mobilized to kill as well. And they will tell you, you can't be the chairman of if you can't kill people. Have you seen him? You probably didn't see him up close yesterday when I showed the video, right? Well, here is the video he's making, and now he's saying some people are spreading propaganda that no, he's only talking to this member of his party, member of his NURTW, and I think they let him go. They went home afterward. Sego. So my caption for that is that he ate his words. All those bragging yesterday, he ate everything. That's him yesterday. or they made him say that. Even everybody knows that it probably didn't mean a tiny word of what he's saying, right? Tafa Sego.
Good afternoon, everyone. We call me Iyaloja Mustafa and popular leader Tafa Sego. So we are ready on TSS that is counting for weight. So we shall go there for this time we run this after 7. So social release will be on day. So propaganda when we go on talk about fight the we are on propaganda we are more such on the everything. So that's a fake rumor. In terms of party no some by or share national union, we go along with very share the IFA she want to do a bit on the carry no the IFA. So all IFA is share with no national transport worker. To offer key iṣẹ́ tí ń ṣe lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ láti yọrí yẹ kó ń wá mix tọ́lẹ̀ fi ṣe kìíní tọ́lẹ̀ fi dàbàrú ẹ̀ tó fẹ́ dá wàhálà lẹ̀ àwọn IFA ẹni mò ń bá rí mo lè pariwo wáyé lóṣù tó bá fẹ́ dẹ́bìtì nílẹ̀ àwọn DSS àtàwọn ọlọ́pàá wọn lè mọ̀ pé national union kò sí jà ń bẹ̀ àwọn alátakò kan lọ́fẹ́ máa ṣe kìíní lọ́fẹ́ máa dá nǹkan tí ò ṣẹlẹ̀ ńlẹ̀ ṣùgbọ́n táwọn DSS pè mí fún tọ́yìn fáìtì mi fún látàárọ̀ kò ṣe nǹkan tí ó rí bẹ́ẹ̀ o lọ́sọ̀ náà propaganda ni o so rumor ni gbogbo ọ̀rọ̀ ṣẹ́ títí wá lèmi kọ́sẹ́sẹ́sì ọ̀rọ̀ ṣẹ́ tiwa lè là ń sọ́n pa day by day so ẹgbẹ́ tó bá wù ẹ̀ lè belong sí ṣe understand so àwọn alamọ pátì tí ó wù wá láti ṣe so ìtàn sọ́n pa yẹn àtàárọ̀ báyìí tó yẹ kí wà lọ́fíìsì mi ọ̀dọ̀ DSS wà ń bẹ̀ wọ́n ṣe rí bí sinmi ọ̀gbẹ́ yìí sí látàárọ̀ ni so propaganda ni gbogbo ìtàn sọ ọ̀rọ̀ paṣẹ wa àwọn ráìfà lórí iṣẹ́ títí wa tó jẹ́ national union road transport worker ní Lagos State chapter so òun lè mú sọ́ọ̀pà ẹ̀ kébi tó ní kí n ṣe gbìmù ibi lọ́ní kí n jẹ́ lídà lé lórí àwọn èèyàn ní wá síbẹ̀ láti wá dàrú àwọn èèyàn ní wá síbẹ̀ láti fẹ́ dàrú àbí láti fẹ́ ṣe nǹkan tí ò dáa ní àṣìṣe ṣàwà mo ní láti jáde kí n jẹ sọ̀rọ̀ gbogbo wọn mẹ́mbà mi sọ aráàlú náà lè mọ kọ́tà ṣe so ẹ ṣe lọ thank you very much God bless you God bless Federal Republic of Nigeria God bless Lagos State God bless national union thank you.
ní ẹni òfò ní ẹ ṣòfò láyé ẹ tún ṣe lálìkìyàmà ẹ̀yin rádaràda wọ̀nyí. ní ẹni òfò ní ẹ ṣòfò láyé ẹ tún ṣe lálìkìyàmà ẹ̀yin rádaràda wọ̀nyí. ní ẹni òfò.
So that's what they told him to say. You get that now? So you just tell them that it's just propaganda new. Propaganda new. I was just talking to the members of our union. I did not talk to anybody. Anybody can go and vote for anybody they want to. It's just a member. Propaganda new. Propaganda new. Papa Willie. We know you go still do what you go do. So there's no point. We are just keeping the record because a day of reckoning is coming. To refresh your minds, everyone, in case if you probably just like, I knew it. I knew that it's propaganda. He couldn't have said all of that thing they said he said. Marge, rejig your memory.
Onímọ́tò ọlọ́kadà onímọ̀lúwà tó lọ́dọ̀ àṣàmà àgbò ayé òní àtìfẹ́ lórí ọgbọ́n síta. Onímọ̀lúwà ẹ̀ ò tí ì pè o. Àwọn onímọ̀lúwà ẹ̀ ò tí ì pè o. Ẹ tí màá yé nígbà yìí máa suspend ẹ̀ o. Ẹ tí màá yé nígbà yìí máa suspend ẹ̀ o. Bí o borí ṣe pọ̀ tó yìí. Ó yẹ kí n sọ́ọ̀fù yìí lẹ́yìn ilé rẹ̀ kí n sọ́ọ̀fù owó yìí àmọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ ẹni bí ẹni ọ̀rọ̀ èèyàn bí èèyàn tọ́tọ́ láti bá mi sọ̀rọ̀ láti kàǹkọ́ lọ́rọ̀ wọ́n ti bá mi sọ̀rọ̀ sòdì ṣe fẹ́ fi lè ṣe lásán ọ̀nì fún yín. Ẹgbẹ́ tiwa lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ APC another party is a counterfeit whether you like or not. Àìtóyí kàdà ń fọ ọ́ bò. Nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní ọ̀dọ́ nìyẹn. Èyí tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní ọ̀dọ́ nìyẹn. Tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní ọ̀dọ́ yín tí owó ilé mọ̀. Ìjọ tí ìkan tí ò tó yẹn tó bá kọ̀ ṣẹlẹ̀ anybody ẹ ti lọ. Tẹ́ẹ̀ bá mọ̀ pé ilé tó bá gbọ̀n mu ni anybody ti lọ. Àti ìjọ ń pè lọ́mọ bá kàbí kí ló ń pè owó ìsáìwà rẹ̀ ẹ lọ sọ fún owó ìsáìwà rẹ̀ àtẹ̀yìn tó ń tọ́jú ní iye tó bá fún ẹ lówó jẹ lọ́sẹ̀ẹ̀sẹ̀ kó wá sọ ọ̀hún bí bàbá ìyá ẹ̀ dá gbogbo ọmọ tó bá wà lábẹ́ yín tí wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe àmàbá rí pé ó ń tasẹ̀ àgẹ̀rẹ̀ kò látòrí pákínà tó bá yẹ kó tasẹ̀ àgẹ̀rẹ̀ ìyọ́bí ẹni yọ jìgà kò lè ní ẹ́fídẹ́ǹsì ẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ ìyọ́dàlù kò sí bàbá lẹ́yìn tó lè dẹ̀ padà. bàbá pàṣẹ wọn lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ àdúgbò ẹ̀ ló ti fẹ́ ṣakọ àtúnṣe bí ni àlẹ́ ìyá ẹ̀ pa ẹ̀ lọ wà ẹ̀ sàkáfù pátá. Báyọ̀ fi Lagos ṣe ìjókì o Báyọ̀ fọ APC tó tí wọ́n bá gbogbo àgọ́ tó ṣe kí ni ìkọ́ tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní 2023 akọ̀wé ìhìnrán ẹ̀ ẹ̀ bá gbogbo 2027 ló bá ṣe kí ni ẹ̀tẹ̀ ọláyé rẹ̀ ṣọwọ́ náà ò yẹ. ọba fẹ́ràn iṣẹ́ ní báyìí á lè wá sí ẹni tó bá ṣe ẹni mistake ní 2027 tó bá lọ sọ́gbà tẹ́ APC ẹ̀ka ṣe kí ni lè má dìbò fún un àmẹ́ tó bá sọ pé òun lè gbọ́ àwa náà lè ṣe kí ni àgbà. mo ìwà tó ipò gbogbo tó ṣe lórí olóṣèlú lọ́dọ̀ yìí yẹn bẹ́ẹ̀ bá lọ sọ̀rọ̀ rẹ̀ pátá ẹ tún wọn kò sí Monday ẹtú gbogbo ọkùnrin tó ń ṣe lórí olóṣèlú yẹn ní ọ̀dọ́ níbẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ bá lọ sọ̀rọ̀ àti sọ fún gbogbo bẹ̀ pátá gbogbo tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ yẹn gbogbo ẹ̀ wà lórí fóònù mi o ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ lásán gbogbo tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní lásùkì yẹn tó ṣẹlẹ̀ lájẹ́ wúlẹ̀ yẹn gbogbo ilẹ̀ mọ̀ọ́kọ̀ yẹn estomach yẹn ìyẹn ní pé ọ̀tá ẹgbẹ́ tó ń fún ilé jẹ yìí ọ̀tá ẹgbẹ́ tó ń fún ilé jẹ òun gbogbo yìí. ọ̀dọ́ yìí nìkan ló ti ṣẹlẹ̀ o mo fún wa bá fojú ara o ọ̀dọ́ yìí ló ti ṣẹlẹ̀ o gbogbo àwọn ará bíbá yìí yẹn lọ́dọ̀ yìí o ìwà fi gbẹ́ni sọ̀rọ̀ tán ẹ invite gbogbo pátá gbogbo ìfẹ́ lójú àti ọ̀dọ́ ọlọ́kadà tó lójú ẹ bẹ́ẹ̀ bá dẹ̀ wà kí á fún wọ́n tètè máa ti sọ ọ̀dọ́ yìí ló gbẹ́ni ṣẹlẹ̀ o ọ̀dọ́ yìí ló ti ṣẹlẹ̀ àdúgbò yìí o ẹni bọ̀bọ̀ ta ẹgbẹ́ ni ìwọ tó bá dẹ̀ ti jọ́ ta ẹgbẹ́ tó bá ti jọ́ ta aṣíwájú kálá ló bá ní kó dà fún ẹ ọlọ́sọ̀rọ̀ ní lójú ẹ. torí ọ̀tá aṣíwájú ọ̀tá àwa ni ọ̀tá APC ọ̀tá àwa ni onímọ̀.
ọ̀tá aṣíwájú ọ̀tá àwa ni ọ̀tá APC ọ̀tá àwa ni. You know, when politicians goes on their campaigns, and then you have, I mean, they will pay these bike men, tricyclists, all of them to be ahead of their convoy. Yeah, that is why they call that meeting. That why would they allow that? Why would any member of road transport workers in Lagos State, why would any member ever even join any other political party or politician that is opposed to Tinubu to do any campaign in the area? That will no longer be tolerated. So nobody is stupid. DSS did not invite him because he is threatening his own members. But they staged this whole invitation and then do a video and just see. No, they talk like that again, okay? Everything inside us. Do you get that now? Everything is inside. But do you know something? They don't really have any electoral value. What they want to use them for, the thugs, is to just stop a lot of you from coming out that you want to be part of their election, like you want to vote. So if they can send enough intimidation, like you have heard that they've scattered your polling unit, would you go out again? Just stay away. And they only need to do that, and the media amplify it to some extent and say, you know, they are fighting here, or they are threatening people there, they are shooting people there. And a lot of people just be like, oh, me, I know they go anywhere. And that's all they need. If they are unable to get that done before 12 noon, it's over. They have no real mileage. If you pay attention to what happened in India 2023, by the way, you get what I mean. Except if you are just news headline readers, right? There's a part of this, though, confrontation, right? I kind of forgot to add. It is the women who later came out after this so thing. Let me add it, and we'll continue from there. Edo women against what Folashade Tinubu just did in Edo, Iyaloja General.
Ada ikweki. Maya weni makmongwa. Then waya mubiakima. Sa waworio yami on keke. Edo majena. Edo orimano. Ijima. Oya ezerewe. Oja yasini woma. Mayana weni majoja yasini wima. Manili edo. Mayaga isiekbe. Egon edo asio we latian. Mama ri ono iga jere yo. So mana weni mari kugbe. Kobona. Obono ke no yeleta. Ibi edo mayakin. Etie makin. Maya kwene gwendo gama. So Maya, we will still talk, we will still speak in one voice. A voice of Maya Yakua. Imaya Yaku Benny Makwaba Toleto. My guama because a division are raw. Tsunami cannot your way. So we don't want that division in our midst. We will be one and we will join together to be one and help the other to Doletoji.
So these are the women who believe that the Oba has been usurped, and maybe the Oba won't really take action, but no, he has to do something because this division among the women that is being exploited by Tinubu's daughter. Tinubu does the same. If Tinubu can't buy your group, then he will create factions and then buy the other faction and then recognize the other faction. Why the legit faction, the real body, right, will be struggling for recognition. Nobody will relate with you. Tinubu does that very well. If you can't buy your group, then it breaks it into two, buy half of it. And makes it more like, it's like a virus. When a virus enters its host, right? And it will just be like this little space. So before you know it, it don't enter the entire bloodstream everywhere. That's what Tinubu's clan seems to be like. But let us continue. Talking about those who have been discussing the possibility of saving Nigeria in the name of a coalition, and others who are suggesting other ideas of how to get rid of Tinubu in 2027. Ken Okonkwo is one of them. However, is like a pundit, political pundit, and a mouth for hire, which means he's invested enough of his own time on individuals or characters involved in the Nigeria politics. So lately, the rumor of Goodluck Jonathan joining the 2027 race seems to be gaining momentum like it did in 2022, just prior to 2023. And then it's kind of like evaporated and disappeared after that. For those who are smart enough, they know that the idea of Goodluck Jonathan running, which he won't, right? And then the Tinubu's camp pushing the reverse psychology, which is to say, it's better that it doesn't run. No, if he should run, it will be much like disgrace, this or that. Like, it will even be easier for Tinubu. So the idea is that, let him run, or it won't run, kind of. So a lot of people are having their own opinions too. So Ken Okonkwo is also one of them. In his own view, Goodluck Jonathan saved his own personality, so to say, from the rest of Nigeria politicians for what he did in 2015 by conceding to the same APC, that if he dare joins the race and divide the chance of getting rid of Tinubu, Then wherever he slept, and you shouldn't forget too, that it was this same APC, Egbekegbe, who did all horrible things to him to ensure that he was completely chased out of power. So he shouldn't make himself available to be used by this same APC. He has said a lot, you know. Meanwhile, before I play that, so tell me, I'm not so used to, my sitting position is not even so easy now, right? I'm not so used to these two cameras anymore. So I fixed the camera, by the way. So number one, thank you to those of you who have been very generous enough to my, right? So every little help. So I fixed that second camera, and I'm still just trying to get used to positioning, lighting, and the rest of that. So tell me, is it still all right? You still like that switch? I know, I thought I would ask, but we'll ask only when at least we have enough of us in, right? Kind of Okonkwo on this their coalition of getting rid of Tinubu in 2027 and why Igbere Jonathan shouldn't be tempted to join in. Because Ken wants a northerner as the presidential candidate, a northerner who has the money, who has the clout, who also can fight, and he's looking at that Tifku. Because according to him, that northerner should be somebody with presidency experience. And the only one with presidency experience is a Tifku. But Ken, talking about the gauge.
Jonathan has his own opinion to make, and he's entitled to it. My own advice is that he should not even near it. My own advice. He should not even contemplate it. The same forces that nearly destroyed his name, clueless, this and that, when they were not in power. The same forces are the ones now that are in power. They would take his name to the toilets. They will roll him on the ground. I have been in politics. And of course, he is very vulnerable because he has been a former president. And he went against certain conventions and certain norms. And you know what? Jonathan almost governed for 6 years. People like us that are saying that we want the tenure to change to become one tenure for the president for 6 years. Then how would I now begin to say that he should be given an opportunity to now maybe govern for going to how many years? Almost 10 years, assuming he has another 10. Because he governed for almost 6 years. So if I were in his position, now that I've acquired the status of international statesman, like the wife said, what is he going back to do? Are you trying to say there are no other Nigerians that can rescue Nigeria? Anybody telling you to come back is trying to use your goodwill now to make a political party to survive. I heard Jerry Gana saying PDP will bring him. PDP is gasping for life. So they want to use somebody's goodwill to know whether they can escape 2027 because they know that they are dead already. So, but if a Jonathan comes in, they will still be, as in making noise there. They know he will not win. It's very settled. Why? Because he's from the south. So you cannot use a southerner, in my own opinion, to defeat a Tinubu now. It will be very difficult because if there is no northerner, for instance, that is contesting, Tinubu will just buy up the whole north, give them the all phony appointments, and they will not have any dog in the fight, and all of them will vote for him because they will say, "Oh, he will have only 4 years to, to stay." But if there is a northerner, whether he wins or not, there will be a contest because they will have an interest in it. That was what Tinubu did to Jonathan in 2015. Went and brought in a northerner and used him to cause a disruptive change to remove Jonathan. So I will ask Jonathan, I will advise Jonathan, if I were him, I will not run because they would put him in the mud. They would destroy him so much that he will regret he ever even contemplated it. He's enjoying his life so much now. if Jonathan travels to any country, he's more respected than Tinubu. So what is he looking for in Tinubu's job? For me, Jonathan now has more international credibility than Tinubu. So what is he looking in Tinubu's job? He has been a former president with all the respect and all the accolades and all the paraphernalia of a former president. So if I were him, I wouldn't even think of it. There was a time I actually thought about Jonathan too. But after a while, after real like close thinking, I'm like, no. It will be a minus for him. Especially after the wife, made some public comments. I think I agree with the wife on that. In hundreds of thousands. That's the truth. Jonathan.
That's a Ken Okonkwo. So to Ken, he won't ever advise Jonathan to join it for all of their reasons. Because the APC, Bekebe will to enter him, eat him, and all of that stuff. So it's better to go and bring somebody from the other place to come and remove Tinubu. That's what Tinubu did. He went to the north. He brought somebody, right, to challenge Jonathan and remove him. So anybody who wants to remove Tinubu, they have to go and bring somebody from the north. This theory. That is if they even have a country to govern. Irabo, the former CDS, Chief of Defense Staff of Nigeria, I think, just wrote a book entitled Scar, or should I call it the Scar of Insurgency on Nigeria, the truth as he witnessed it. That's why he called it. The truth as I witnessed it. So at that book launch, Obasanjo was there, Sultan was there, Kuka was there. Lots of them were there. So read about the supposed docu-series of fighting insurgency. Kuka was talking about the Chibok girls, Leah Sharibu, and others who are never to be seen again, right? Then the Sultan of Sokoto was saying, listen, if you look at this Boko Haram, the Boko Haram and the insurgency in Nigeria, the terrorism in Nigeria, it's not about taking power, as majority have sort of like come to believe, right? Taking power means to force caliphate on all of us. So all of us will become caliphate, right? He said, no, that's not the reason. If you pay attention very well, you realize that their intention is to disrupt every development going on in Nigeria. That is to hurt them as much as possible. And it sounded about right. Then I remember Takia, but that's where we're going to go next. They are talking about the insecurity of Nigeria. The publisher of the book, Irabo himself, let's hear it from him first.
Now, the account in this book is a painful truth as I see it. It is my hope that it will elicit a national conversation, which is aimed at focusing attention on credible solutions to the nation's challenges. As we unveil this book, I invite you to join me on a journey of reflection, empathy, and hope. I have always believed that man exists to solve problems. If you are not solving any problem, then your existence is worthless. Therefore, let us remember the victims of Boko Haram's atrocities. And let us also note that scars, the journey, Nigeria's journey and Boko Haram conundrum is not an indictment. Take it from me, it's not an indictment. It is a national soul-searching presentation. It is an awakening reality to either act dutifully for progress or do nothing and tend towards extinction. May that not be our portion. Hence, let us recommit ourselves to building a nation anchored on justice, equity, and peace. For me, this book is not just a narrative. It is a call for sustained hope and optimism. In the words of Nelson Mandela, I do not lose. I either win or I learn. Therefore, our national experiences should be seen as wins and lessons. Let me add that the proceeds from this book will be used to sustain support to schools and hospitals, which my family and I have been committed to over the years. Once again, thank you for being here. As I assure you that SCARS is quite optimistic that collectively we can turn our scars into victories of national.
Nuisance lele. Nuisance lele. Nuisance.
Baba Nuisance. He was one of the service chiefs under Bokuwari. And right now, what he had the opportunity of doing that he didn't do is writing book about it. And now, like others before him, he's passing it on. This book is to help us to understand the fight against Boko Haram. It's not an indictment and then it blah nonsense. When you go and get the book, it will tell you how, Boko Haram was attacking, when Boko Haram was attacking so place in Borno, we're in a flight with Mr. President going to, then we have to divert back. We have to call emergency meeting. Those are the nonsense they're going to write in there, because the war against Boko Haram and the other terrorists in Nigeria, they have become an industry, so to say. Here you get now. So when Buratai the Butcher was there and others, right? Then when he left, and they left a country so terrorized. He was rewarded with ambassadorial this or that. Others got other board appointment here and there under Bokuwari. But the terrorism continued, right? So you have the chance of actually doing something significant to end it. You didn't. All of this, it's under Bokuwari. This one will be saying an old general. This guy just left the position probably like, maybe a year or so ago. Do you understand? They were the ones who are always wearing all those starchy uniforms where they carry walking stick. And they are taking all these crisp pictures to show how neat they are. All those things. There is one of them. Now, you don't go write book. So how is that book going to now? Is it now sharing with us information of how to defeat Boko Haram? And who is? There were many. Obasanjo was there. His own take on the matter.
Shouldn't we examine our past? What is in our past that is becoming debilitating, destructive to our present and obviously to our future? And I believe that is what you have tried to do in your book. There is normally the tendency, don't talk about it, let's leave it. And I believe that we must get out of that culture. Let us see it as it is. The history, the life of any nation, any family, any institution has the good, the bad, and the ugly. What is important, and our Master of Ceremony and Mistress of Ceremony made that point, is let us have it let us look at it and let us think about it. And when we have to find solution, we may even look beyond what we can see. Let us think beyond what is available. And I think that is what you have done here. And I will urge and appeal that those who have things to say about this particular issue of Boko Haram, we don't even know where Boko Haram stops and banditry starts and kidnapping begins. They are all mixed together. We can't go on this way. Surely we can't. And something must be done. And the beginning of something being done is this book, Scars, Nigeria's Journey and the Boko Haram Conundrum.
Àmọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ tẹ́ gbé kalẹ̀ yìí ó dàbí ọ̀rọ̀ ẹni tí ọpọlọ rẹ̀ yòrò tàbí ẹni tí Ọlọ́run fi síbi aláṣà àwọn ọpọlọ rẹ̀ bí ọpọlọ ikú ó jọ má bẹ́ẹ̀ tọpọlọ rẹ̀ ò tó nǹkan rárá tàbí ètò wà ń bẹ kó má tiẹ̀ wúlò má rárá.
Like, did you hear the last part? The solution to this, problem, the beginning of the solution to this problem is this book. Somebody write the book. Is that the book now that we have to read to now defeat Boko Haram? For somebody who is an immediate past chief of defense staff, what's that his position again? CDS, defense staff of Nigeria. So he don't do his own. More people have been killed under him. More people have been kidnapped. More territories have been captured by these terrorists. Now he don't go write book. And they say solution to this terrorism is going to be this book. So who is fooling who? Or who they allow himself to be fooled? By them. There is Reverend Cooker. Yeah, there's one called Reverend Cooker. Was there too. That one used the occasion to remind us the atrocities, the evil of Boko Haram. And in that rumor, Boko Haram sponsors, Boko Haram sympathizers, the Fulani terrorist sympathizers at the enablers, they are inside that room with them. Only buy any betting. Like if we put any money, do I not get money, but I wish I've got. But I feel okay. Like I can put anything on it. Trust me. They are inside that same room with them. Right? But use the occasion to remind everybody still said that Nigeria could have done so well, done better, if it hasn't encountered this level of carnage, destruction that has lasted longer than a decade. Again, it is just the gathering of elites ranting about something that will just look like let's pretend that we care. You get what I mean now? Everything ends in that room, unfortunately. But they are talking about it, right? That's a plus.
Now, the author goes on to talk about the Boko Haram conundrum. Now, the good thing about the book is that it doesn't discuss the theology of Boko Haram, which is a subject for another day. But he makes the point, even if it is in passing, about the circumstances, social, economic, political, that brought about this. And I will speak to it towards the end of my presentation. But please, let us not forget, in all this conversation about Boko Haram, and I think this is where the Nigerian government has gotten it wrong. First of all, let's not forget, we are the ones who gave them the name Boko Haram. They didn't say that they are Boko Haram. We are the ones who gave them the name. And because we gave them the name Boko Haram, we have become comfortable. It has affected our strategy. And that is why we're focusing on, they say they know like book, that the education, Western education is
But if you go back, and I've done a little bit of research on Boko Haram for quite some time. My brother and the director of the Kuka Center, Father Barkindo, here, his PhD thesis at the prestigious School of Oriental and African Studies was on Boko Haram. They've done extensive translations of the kind of things that Boko Haram was talking about. And until you access the kind of thing Boko Haram was talking about, you are shooting at the wrong board. Because the question which the chairman raised as to how 15 years later we are unable to resolve this issue means that you cannot cast out a devil that you have not named. Boko Haram says their name is Jama'atu Ali Sunnah Leader Awati Wal Jihad. That is their name. If you can't pronounce it, too bad. Because if you call me John, I won't answer. If you call me Philip, I won't answer. Even if I commit a crime and you took me to court and you try me and you secure a conviction and you spell my name Matthew with one T, I can argue that this is not my Matthew. So we are calling them Boko Haram, but they have told you this is their name. And the English translation is that people committed to the prophet's teachings for the propagation of jihad. That's what is in their blood. So no matter how many bullets you shoot them with, and I will come to that point, they have told you this is what they are committed to. And in fairness to all of us, including those of us who are in this room, is there any Muslim who will say is not committed to the teachings of the Holy Prophet? The challenge is what context of preaching. Now, the author talks about the irony of Boko Haram. That is in chapter 6. And he addresses a lot of issues in chapter 6 and chapter 7, which also catalog the forces that led to the destruction. The Federal Government College in Buniyadi, the kidnappings in Chibok, Dapchi, the destruction of infrastructure such as the UN building in Abuja, assassinations of people like Jafar Adam in Kano, and so on. Now, the issue of Leah Sharibu and the Chibok girls, these are what the author refers to as the scars. And in my view, as long as Leah Sharibu is unaccounted for, as long as any of the abducted children in Nigeria is unaccounted for, every child that is unaccounted for is a scar on the face of Nigeria. Now,
before I go on, let me postulate from the Franz Fanonian dictum, which stipulates that the dialectics of reconciling two conflicting ideas is the algebra of revolution. The overbearing intervention of the state government had further exacerbated oporombium and amounting to sadomasochisms. Acrimony and chaos in our community. And it was a contumelous stratagem by political jobbers to siphon monies. We suffer what we call political axivia nunantorum. Conclusively, we are a microcosm of the issues in the Niger Delta in the macrocosm. Today, we as a people are stating, Voxe populi, voxe Dei.
It is smoke Igbo. It is take Indian.
So, Reverend Kuka was there to remind us of what is Boko Haram, the scars of Boko Haram, and these are the things we know, man. So they are kind of making it like, you know, this is coming from somebody who had direct experience of fighting the Boko Haram. So then he knows the psychology of the Boko Haram. But he is supposed to write book when they have defeated these terrorists. And Nigeria is now referring to a year or 2 years of no single terrorism attack. Nobody is kidnapped. Every refugee camp in Nigeria closed down. People returned back to their villages, communities, and all that, and they are safe. That is when you can now have a victory lap. Should be now waiting they call it that victory lap. So the victory lap would then be, oh, how we did it. So let me give you the psychology so that people, experts, researchers, who want to understand what led to Boko Haram, what led to all this whole carnage, destruction, and all of this stuff. Baba, they are still kidnapping people. They kidnapped a police officer in Kwara today. This was supposed to be after the governor had visited Kwara. You know, Kwara has been in the news for days now. Yeah, people have been killed by another set of terrorists, the Fulani terrorists. Another set of terrorists that are being, you know, pampered by the supposed military of Nigeria, who would deliberately corrupt or compromise the rule of engagement. 10 years of fighting these terrorists. They are not convinced, or the idea that these guys that you are fighting, you know, if you kill them, they won't stop. How are you really killing them? When some state governors are celebrating the repentant, over 300,000 repentant terrorists. Now, what are you talking about? So if this idea of neutralizing them is not implemented and put to test, and it has been put to test successfully, we wrote a book. He wrote this book to do what? Raise money so that he can go, himself and his wife can go to refugee camps from the money he himself made from this, you know, terrorism business, because they are making a lot of money, claiming to be buying weapons, sitting on the welfare allowances of their own officers, their salaries, and all horrible things they are doing. Trillions of naira stolen in the fight against insecurity. So they are all smiling to the bank. Trillionaires, that guy Irabo. Right now he's written a book to do what? To help us now solve what he couldn't do for 4 or 5 years when he had the chance, when he was sitting where decisions had been made. So the book anybody should be writing right now, even though it's going to be irrelevant, is the book of confession. The role everybody played in engineering the expansion of terrorism from this section of northern Nigeria to the rest of northern Nigeria to the rest of Nigeria today. Now, confession book you're supposed to write and then go station, go report yourself. Here is the Sultan of Sokoto trying to explain to us the Boko Haram's ideology. That the ideology is not really to take power. The ideology is to disrupt progress, disrupt development. And it is relative, kind of, because since this whole terrorism started, it has become so difficult, if not impossible, for Nigerians to grow their own food. Nigerians have become poorer. Nigerians are never really, I'm talking about some Nigerians are never used to have to pay to buy food because they have their farms and all that. And from their farms, after they take what they will eat, they sell the rest to raise money for other things. And they are okay living their life like that. This life has been disrupted by these terrorists. You know what I mean now? So, yeah, it's caused massive poverty in the country. So you can say, okay, they're not trying to turn all of us to caliphate. They just want to ensure that we are not going to progress. And anyone making effort to of progress, destroy them, kill their leaders, kill their head, and you know what I mean? But how is that then normal? By any means, right? Anyway, here's the Sultan of Sokoto explaining that too.
I'm not going to say anything about insecurity or the way to end insecurity or whatever it is. No. I want to adopt all what's been said from the beginning of this program, because these are the ways and means of resolving such issues. But what President Jonathan said, I was expecting him to make a very strong comment about how he really dealt with the issue of Boko Haram, which he used both the military and myself and other stakeholders. But maybe he decided not to, because a book is coming after that from him on how I dealt with the Boko Haram issue. And let me also correct you, like I am happy to hear that the Boko Haram is not really Boko Haram, that's not their name. I'm glad to hear that. from somebody who is not me. If I were the one who is saying those, somebody will say yes, because I know them. And that's not their name, because I know that they never claimed Boko is haram. If you have listened to some of their audio, which I had privilege of listening to, they said they didn't say Boko is haram, because so many of them have also gone to school. And they said you cannot open somebody's brain and remove the education in his head. So he has already acquired that knowledge, that education. He's an engineer, he's a doctor, he's whatever it is. What they are saying is that those who have gone to school and are educated are leading bad governments. What they're after is the issue of bad governance, because they want to be free, they want to do whatever they feel they should do. And I want to correct, and I'm glad this is carried on TV, live. I want to correct this wrong notion that people, non-Muslims, hold about jihad. Jihad is not to kill a non-Muslim by a Muslim. Jihad means to strive. And in whatever you do in life, you strive to be the best you can be. You strive to be a good Muslim. You strive to be a good Christian. You strive to be a good farmer or a good engineer. So jihad is not to kill a non-Muslim. That's a wrong notion people have been airing out for decades. And I wrote a foreword on a book. Across the world, published by the King of Jordan. And I wrote that forward, and I believe that book will be brought back again. It was about 13, 14 years ago. And it talked about the uses and abuses of jihad. Because at the back of the book, I remember very well, because they said one of the most fearsome word a non-Muslim would hear is the word jihad. And it's true, because people have already given it a very negative connotation, but it is not. And so let's live here with that notion that, look, jihad is to strive, it's not to kill a non-Muslim. Because as we know as Muslims, it's in the Holy Quran, you cannot take somebody's life without due process. You cannot kill somebody. Because they said to kill a life, take a life or kill somebody, it's like taking the whole of humanity. That's without being following due process. But these are things that scholars will talk to you about. So let's live here with this notion that jihad is not to kill, because we are living peacefully with one another. I'm a Muslim and I know I'm a Muslim. If you're a Christian, you know you're a Christian. Then when we understand one another, we are better equipped to deal with one another. Because I know who you are, you know who I am. There's nothing you can do to me. There's something I can do to you. Understanding is the most important thing. We understand one another and live peacefully in this country. I'm not going to say anything about insecurity.
Alhamdulillah. 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 Alhamdulillah.
Àmín. Kọlu. Lájí kọlu àbí àpá kọlu. Ọmọ Sultan of Sokoto. So this is how some of these guys have been doing. Takia. Boko Haram, the full meaning of their name, is to fight jihad, kill unbelievers, fight jihad in order to uphold the teaching of the prophet. And their final goal is to establish a caliphate in Nigeria. Their preachings, their videos, their everything is not about the jihadis, how to thrive. This is what the moderate Muslims will tell you. You get that now? Moderate Muslims will tell you that in Islam, a lot of people misinterpreted so many parts of the Quran. They gave them their own meaning. And all these actions or whatever the beliefs, they are un-Islamic. So those are the ones who ended up having to choose the violent ways of forcing that ideology on you. And that they also do the same, even for Muslims, their fellow Muslims too. That's what a moderate Muslim will tell you. But let us just simmer for 1 second. Okay? When the Boko Haram, when they were very, very hot before they broke into ISWAP 1, ISWAP 2, Lakurawa, Boko Haram, and others, like, they are about 5 now, operating in that northern Nigeria, Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, and they are wrecking havoc seriously. Here you get now. So when they were still very much active, not only that, they were not only just accepted as fighters for Allah, preachers, known Islamic preachers in northern part of Nigeria, they were preaching in support of the Boko Haram. Especially when Jonathan was there, it was that terrible. They were preaching on their behalf, right? Then the Boko Haram, in communities that they considered as Islamic enough, you see those ones that are pure Christian communities, like what happened in Chibok, Dapchi, Kankara, all those names, right? Those were coordinated, targeted kidnappings of Christians. So the Boko Haram, they were destroying schools in communities that are majorly Christian communities. And of course, yes, for the Muslims that preached against them, those who were bold enough to speak up against them, like, this is un-Islamic, they are not representing Islam, they are evil, they are terrorists. Some of them got killed by this same Boko Haram. But there were the existing clerics in northern Nigeria. They were like all these their sheikhs that they were like, rather than confront the violence, the terrorism, they were more concerned about you labeling or calling Muslims different names because of Boko Haram. They are more concerned about that, Islamophobia. So then, Fulani terrorists came. They scream, Allahu Akbar, while they are lynching, killing, burning. They'll be shouting Allahu Akbar because they believe they are fighting for Allah. So behind the scene, those who are supposed to be so concerned, like this Sultan of Sokoto, that could have indeed just say, hey, you are not going to offend any Muslim, or if you crush these people, they are un-Islamic, they are this or that, like genuinely. But no, behind the scene, they are the ones who are calling Northern leaders meeting, Northern Islamic leaders meeting, Northern Kineko meeting. In all these meetings, they are giving conditions to the government of Nigeria how they should undo this terrorism in the north. Seriously. Different resolution. Kineko elders, the Islamic elders of Kineko, forum, this forum, that forum. They will be issuing resolutions after resolutions. And then it first starts. Enough that today, these old guys gathered somewhere and they're still lying to themselves. They're still there, telling themselves that their gathering is for the progress of Nigeria. Their gathering is to discuss the problem of and find solution to the problem of Nigeria. And they continue to gather almost every day, everywhere. You will see them, but the problem persists. Because they have no real intention of fixing any problem. Just be too dumb enough to believe them, though, People dumb enough to believe them. But not Sowore. Sowore was in court today, by the way. So before we even go to that court, this was a community in Borno State, right, where this same Boko Haram struck.
Allahu Akbar. hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil. Alhamdulillah. Mun gode wa Allah, wannan shine baraki na wani gari na sunan shi ba su zoi. Na kirawa ne Allahu akbar, Allah ya ba mu nasara kansu. Allahu akbar. Mun gode wa Allah. Wannan shine barakin kirawa, Allah ya ba mu izina kai shiga nan. Wannan mota ne muna bonawa. Alhamdulillah.
Daga daidai na duwa. Nokin madar ba ku lar trabla na detredem adun koskuna watirna. Tadin jowo koskuna watirna. No nganeter badum tapira sikeshin.
Do you understand? So they finally attacked the community called Kikawa or Kirawa in Borno State. So prior, the people have already left. Did you see that crowd? Did you see that number of women, children who were living and all of that? They had no specific place they were going. Oh, when you see people in that kind of distress, and you think they have somewhere they are going, they have nowhere they are going. Oh, when you see them like that, what they are doing is that leaving that danger zone first and see where they end up. There will be no government, no NGO, no nothing that's going to say, oh, we heard that there's been an attack so let us go there and provide support for these people. That's the situation of how millions, over 10 million Nigerians are living in refugee camps right now for a country that is not fighting war, a country that is not at war. You have millions of your people who have been displaced from their homes. So the Boko Haram will come in, or the Fulani terrorists in the middle of the night like that. They will set fire on that, and on the homes. They will set fire, burn everything down, trucks, cars, anything they see. And if they see anything that moves, human being running in that middle of the night, they will shoot and kill them. That's what they do. So if you decide to hide in your house and they soak your entire property with gasoline, there are people that they've burned them inside their buildings. Disabled people who couldn't run like everyone else, they ended up being killed in their homes by these murderous terrorists. But guess what? They still get pardoned in what they called Operation Safe Corridor to rehabilitate these terrorists in Nigeria. Sowore had this to say after appearing in court today over the case between Ned Nwoko, who is suing Omoyele Sowore for defamation, right? Over a publication done by Sahara Reporters a while back, I think from 2022, he said, but the case continued to get postponed, adjourned, and due to non-appearance or not showing up. Sowore used that chance again to tell us, as it is, about the contraption from the legal, from the citizens, to the oppressors, to the legal system, right? This way.
All of them said about this 12 criminal case and the other 2 civil cases that we filed against Facebook and Twitter, the DSS, and all of our adversaries. There are plenty. They keep growing and growing. But today's case has been around since 2022. It was a case filed by Ned Nwoko, the content creator senator, who claimed that Sahara Reporters and myself became him. But they haven't received an arraignment because it was filed on the basis of malice. And I think even as bad as what was the understanding of this nonsense. So again today, there was no arraignment. That was come back on November 20th, 2025. Come and listen to more preliminary objections and obsessions. But that's not the issue. We don't have problem with it. I just want people to know that don't be worried for me designed to do. We are here to fight against oppression. We are here to demolish those people who say this country will not progress in our lifetime. And we are here to continue to mobilize against impunity. Whether they come from the president, the senator, the policeman, the IGP of police, DJ of DSS, or in some cases they come from priests, pastors, imams. There's nothing we haven't seen in this year, and it's especially this year. This year has been an interesting year. And I predicted it in January when they sent me a letter to appear before the police at the FIT. That this is going to be an interesting year. So we're trudging on, no doubt about that. So that's where we are.
Okay, so if you have to look at and then pending cases, why don't it always what would you say is really wrong? Is it a systemic issue?
You know, a lot of people didn't know me until very recently. In fact, I was doing an interview with foreign journalist last week. It was radio just aware. And she said, what's the problem with you? And when I said, I've been fighting government in 1989, he said, wow, I was born in 1995. So, and you're still fighting. So, I think what happens is that the moment you have an uncompromising position against oppression, against corruption, impunity, and everything that is wrong with governance in Nigeria, they throw everything at you. They don't do that, yes, they don't do that to other people who don't challenge authority. They might respond to others in press statements. They don't respond to me, they lob grenades at me, you know. And you know that there was a time I was shot by a police officer in this country. There was a time I was, my nose was broken, my brother killed. And by the way, which is, I use this opportunity to talk about my brother's case. They called us last week, the police in those states, that they finally want to try the killers of my brother. And asked us to come to court. We dispatched a family member there. They said, oh, there's a promotion exam for judges. They postponed it again. They confessed to my brother that one of the guys they claim was one of his has died in detention. So, if the person that died in detention is not there, how do you successfully try the other two? But I can guarantee you that the reason they did that is because they've seen that the high profile things they are doing against me is going to attract scrutiny over every other thing. Because I'm speaking about it consistently. So that's the nature of it. So what you are saying is as a result of our refusal to give up on Nigeria. And a lot of people say, and you might want to agree with them sometimes, that, oh, is Nigeria worth dying for? Well, the truth today is that if you don't die for Nigeria, Nigeria will kill you. So you better choose, you know, how to die. It doesn't matter. And it goes beyond even just dying for Nigeria. Because Nigeria is such an embarrassment to humanity that wherever you go, Nigeria will follow you there. Yes. I was reading on my way here in Nigeria that was deported to Ghana. They wouldn't even give him the privilege of being deported to his own country. They deported him to Ghana. Ghana deported him to Togo. And then you have to find out how worse can it get? And when we challenge these people, of course, they do all kinds of things against us.
There has been terrorism.
Nigeria is so corrupt, which I regret the day I was born in this country. It's unfair. This is unfair now. This is unfair. Nigeria is so corrupt, which I regret the day I was born in this country. It's unfair. This is unfair now. This is unfair. Nigeria is so.
Sowore said, if you are not ready to die for Nigeria, Nigeria is really ready to kill you, or Nigeria will kill you eventually. So last, or die. Now die. So don't waste the death. Come and die for Nigeria. You know? Or Nigeria follows you everywhere you go to. in such a way that it's like a bad stench, right? That follows you everywhere and it just won't leave. I don't know how that is like. I just imagine it, right? So, but what more? For those who still feel like, keep fighting. Who? I'm fighting for who? You got to I'm fighting for myself, or I'm fighting for the future of my children. Okay. But there are others who are willing, without force, without coercion or anything, who are more than willing to sell that your future and that your children's future for a pot of porridge. And they will do it again and again, live with the consequences or even die with the consequences. But they will do it again and again. Unfortunately, a system that has been programmed that way makes it more or less like a fix. But Sowore said more. The vintage Sowore in his will, right? Here. Oh, did you hear the part of that his brother that got killed by some kidnappers then, the Fulani terrorists? And then they came back to say they've arrested them and they've charged them to court in Edo. Remember? That's the one he just told us now, that they said one of them died in custody, which will now make it difficult to try the remaining two. And he, Sowore, is very much aware of the game they are playing. Judicial system of Nigeria. Listen to this other part.
I think 2 days ago we heard that traditional ruler arrested one of the youths that were protesting against the insecurity in the state. And right now, I think they are still on rampage.
While I was in there, I still got another message that 5 people were kidnapped and a few people killed. The bread seller was killed even today. I had already said it, and you can just look at the record from that Nigeria has failed to the point that the leaders of Nigeria are happy that there's more and more territory taken by terrorists and bandits, so that they don't have to govern. This is the best excuse you can have to say, I would have done a rule, but terrorists are taking over the place. But the question you should ask yourself is, what is the definition of terrorism? And if you look at the definition of terrorism very well, it is the Nigerian government that's actually a terrorist organization. If you doubt me, go and ask the judge in Canada who ruled that the APC and PDP are terrorist organizations, including Nigerian police, was ruled as a terrorist organization. So, what else can I tell you?
Sir, about some percent Nigeria's population growth is not happening by the year 2050. That Boko Haram will shout. Do you stand with this?
Obasanjo has no leg to stand on when we talk about population. How many kids does Obasanjo have? He has a kid almost the size of a city. But that's not the issue. The issue is that population is not a barrier if the country is well governed, if the leaders really well governed. The most, prosperous countries today are the countries that have the highest population: China, India. But it will be a problem. What he should have said is that if you have a huge population that are not educated, that are not taken care of, Boko Haram will have gone. Even if the population of your country is 200,000 people, and you have useless leaders, there will still be Boko Haram in that country. But if you have upward, mobile, well-educated population, you are ready for prosperity. Go and ask China, India. And Nigeria has 200 million people that are ready to take on the rest of the world. But certain things has to be done. But I don't like to discuss Obasanjo because I don't want to fail this country to where it is today. They'll just come around and pick microphone whenever they like, because the country has not punished them for the evil they did to the country.
What section of Nigeria are alleging that there's genocide against them? Do you share in that view? And even the US is also maintaining that.
There's genocide against the poor in this country. There's genocide against Muslims in this country. There's genocide against Christians in this country. There's genocide against children in this country. To now separate it and say maybe it's one religion or the other. Interestingly, Nigeria doesn't count or do DNA of people who are killed. They determine whether they are carrying a Bible or a Quran. So, the number of people that were abducted on our road yesterday, did anybody find out whether they are Christians? Whereas the US can nitpick symbolically, because they have policies, definitely. They say, oh, you know, there are genocides against Christians in Nigeria. Why is the US not taking the same position in Gaza? That a genocide against Muslims. Right? So there's international hypocrisy about that. In a country where they are killing 6,000 people a day, you do not designate the killer as a genocidal government. But you are here. Please, let's be careful. I'm not in any way defending what is happening in Nigeria. I'm just saying that the problem with Nigeria has nothing to do with the leadership. It's complete irresponsible leadership and insecurity that kills everybody. What about when the terrorists go and kill people in the mosque? When you talk about insecurity in this country today, it happens more in the north, in the Muslim part of the north. That's the truth. That's where they go to mosque. I think they killed about 35 people in a mosque in Gaza. And the people who killed them were not Christians. They're probably people who identify as Muslims. So, but the truth is that we like to water down the responsibility of our leaders, right? This gives them an alibi. You know, okay, you know, and then the US will come with a policy to say we want to protect Christians. Let's bring a big boat and take all the Christians out. Let's see if nobody will get killed again. The ones that
So go hard small for you to possibly get Sowore in a state where we have no answer to your question, right? He's now a politician, as much as well, some call him an activist and not that, right? So he's still a politician, or he's becoming a politician in that sense. As blunt as he loves to express himself, at the same time, I think he's kind of like incautious too. So we'll leave it at that. Okay. There is still talking about this part of the insecurity, which he also mentioned. You know, like a properly governed country will deal with the criminals who raised arms against the state or by any chance kill anybody, no matter what you call yourself. And if it is an armed group, then they will be called terrorists in that sense. And a working country will deal with them before you begin to compare how many Christians died, how many Muslims did they kill. But this comparison and this competition, there will be no need for it. Because by then, you would have had them crushed from infancy when they're still small. So in Kwara State, where they've been in the news for the past few days, okay, what do you call it? The people of Kwara North, Kwara South. That's how much it's actually so spread, by the way, in Kwara. So there's a place called the Okeode, which is the most famous, or recently the most famous part they've attacked. Because other communities who are like smaller communities from around the area, they've had to abandon their homes, like everything, and probably took what they could take. And they've all moved to Okeode that they initially considered a little bit safe until the terrorists came and killed the vigilantes that were supposed to be providing them security. So long story short, they've been calling on government to come to their aid because majority of them have left their homes again to God knows where. For those who are left, so their state governor, on the day when this issue was very, very hot, he was in a way jollifying with Tinubu and Hopeless Uzodijo, Hopeless Uzodigba. Then he returned back to Ilorin and took a trip 2 days after to Okeode, precisely, met with some of these community leaders and other, and promised them that, yeah, They will provide them security now, and everybody probably will be will be going back to their houses soon. And that was like yesterday. And the report now is that a police officer has been kidnapped in that taxis, while another held captive, which the community had already raised 20 million naira ransom, has been confirmed killed. All of this in the last 48 hours. But their governor was there yesterday, as he was briefly captured.
So Bale was breathing. So Said was coming to get the Bale to General Prison. So when he put the Bale in front of him, the Nafaya so they didn't go to that hotel. So they were taking them. This is where this man. Now we give their food. They were that's why the Bale is living. So they entered the place with the man because of that. Because they believe Falola, the leader of my forest guard, he was staying there. Falola. So the fire attacks. When they are coming to this place, they block one, they kill the. So Bale.
The usual. They had to meet in the middle of the road, somewhere, like the governor who came to come and inspect, because the place is near deserted, you know what I mean? Like people have left. But to make it look like he's walking, right? So he brought like retinue of security to protect himself, of course. So then they are now telling him how they believe the attack happened, how they killed the Bale, how they killed the vigilantes, how they blocked the road, this or that. Okay, like, wow. Okay. Pretending like he's probably shocked and would do everything to make sure that it never happened again. But it's going to happen again. It is going to happen again. Right? And then the next thing is probably they're going to start peace talk, where these Fulani terrorists will now officially come out. Like we have been seeing in the recent time, right? They will officially come out on their bikes to come and sign peace deal with the people of Okonkwo. So you have got a list of the communities which have come under their regular attacks, that you will barely see a soul in some of this community. Barely. Do you get that? In this Kwara, north and south. You have Ologomo town, Ajegunle town, Agban town, Agban. Then you have Alebe, you have Owode, you have Alashoro, you have Alawon, you have the Bankole, Oreke, Gamu, Babanla, Ayetoro. You have the Budo, Arifowomo, Apata Olosun, Oreke Isale, Shagbe, Olohun Tele, Okeode, Ilu Agunjin. These are, to just mention but few from the long list of communities, smaller towns that have come under the endless attacks of these terrorists in Kwara State. The government is aware. Everyone is aware. So you may begin to see them soon signing peace deal with these terrorists right before our very eyes. And they will tell you it is the renewed hope agenda. When they say it, remember what they mean. As we are all here still wondering where is Nigeria headed under Tinubu because of Boko Haram's, destructive, murderous regime. About even Boko Haram's legacy, like Tinubu promised, to continue from wherever Boko Haram stopped, is ongoing. 3.5 billion euro Kano to Maradi rail that was Bokwari's dream project, but money borrowed in the name of Nigeria to build and construct rail line from Nigeria to Niger Republic is ongoing, and in case if you have not seen much of it in the recent times, right? I'll show you. And the last, this video was recorded just 24 hours ago, right? It's still very much fresh. So I don't feel like for you. So they won't really need bikes through the desert. With that train, the future is probably great for these Sahel Fulani terrorists. The length of that Kano to Maradi in Niger Republic is similar to the length from Lagos to Port Harcourt. Rotifmi Amechi was the one who initiated the loan and the project, hoping that when Bokwari was done, it would be the anointed candidate from the south, young, experienced, and loyal, committed, and all that kind of, quality. Rotifmi Amechi ignored the most lucrative route where a train track of such expense at the time would have probably earned Nigeria like triple-fold of it within the first 5 years. Lagos to Port Harcourt, right? But no, it is Kano to Maradi. The rest is history. Just write that down as part of your updating your diary, because I've just added it to the diary, right? And those who live in Niger State who are familiar with the Kanji and Kanji Dam, they say River Niger don't full. So someone captured this moment 2 days ago near the same Kanji Dam busting out items, right? So you may experience yourself flooding. I'm not a weatherman, or I saw this clip recorded by an amateur, right? Who saw it, and that should be enough.
Ya za a ce ya za mu implementing din ya zama to idan ana ruwa ko an yi ruwa mutane ba za su dinga passing through this wannan transformer deck din nan ba.
We just, if we want to do that, we will only come up with a policy that when you are passing, then you use your heart that we enforce the use of our
you just come and seal the place with our caution tape.
It's possible. It's possible.
Ai sati ana fitar ruwan nan ba zai kare ba?
Ba zai yi ba. And if we don't discharge it, it will cause an havoc to us. It will cause an havoc to us. Yes. Now I will put this in the platform, even in the Facebook, that people at the bank of the river should please keep off. That Shiroro
rather, in Niger, it's not Kanji, Shiroro. So they said the river Niger is overflowing, I think, and therefore it's got excess water that the dam will need to discharge. And you may experience massive flooding in those states that share border with River Niger. I mean, those of you who live around that area, you are very much familiar with the season, right? It's not new. But they are not building you new dams to control or further control this water. Some of it that could be diverted into irrigation system whereby most of the desert in northern part of Nigeria could be turned straight to an arable green land. Like, they could give that to this Fulani terrorist. But the way one land. Here you get, like, that could be a project that could save Nigeria a lot of money compared to what Nigeria is spending on defense, which mostly are stolen, unfortunately. But more leave that a little bit and stop by in Aba, in Abia, where Alex Otti was supposed to be actually hosting Tinubu, but Tinubu sent Devulumai, right, to go and commission road whatever project of Otti while they are on the street. Somebody recorded this. And they went on to commission an auditorium, I heard, maybe a township stadium or an auditorium, where speeches were given. Okay. But Iyinaya Abaribe, remember him? Yeah, he's one of the men or the guys in the elite circle that stood surety for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu when he was granted bail before they attempted to kill him, right? So Abaribe is also one of the leaders of the eastern part of Nigeria political class. He's been around for a while. However, he remained one of the advocates for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They said a lot there. It's none of your business, but this one is our business because Abaribe used the occasion to, again, right, ask for this Devulumai who had met with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu on at least 2 occasions. And when he realized that it couldn't be bought, and he believed that his conviction about his advocacy for Biafra is so strong that he considered it as a delusion, right? And at the same time, a threat that if he should by any means discover the kind of influence and all that he wills, that's Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, they will be in trouble. So Devulumai had met with Nnamdi Kanu. So they've had chats, and he's made promise that he eventually reneged on and signed his death warrant to get him killed. So if you want to know one of those who is probably responsible for why Nnamdi Kanu, right, is not being released, Devulumai is one of them. And Abaribe is sending him to call again.
Represent this constituency. And in Ainaho, Ozuolani, Obidianemma, Ainekele Madunile, Kama, Anyaga Hapo, Ngaina President, Nina Ndola Lobua Holele Japishin Jojo, Alawa Katsu, Mr. President, only one thing in Gaforo, in the Chalanyego, Nyaninda, Nyani mo, wenga frono gabo, kwa tirani namde kano, tani surike, mula mamano, keleno, mamano, keleno.
Thank you, distinguished Senator Ekinaya Abarige, Senator representing.
I know online, you would have people that will say all kinds of shit about Nnamdi Kanu. How much they want to repeat their own lies or is responsible for the insecurity here and there. But there is nowhere in eastern part of Nigeria. I am yet to see any gathering where Nnamdi Kanu's name is mentioned, and there is no an automatic thunderous uproar. And more or less like, it's like, you know, saying a name that everybody will like, hey, you know. That is what Nnamdi Kanu is to an average Igbo person. As much as they are doing their best to systemically bully you into denying this publicly, but mention his name, even in the political gathering. There are many of them that understand this very well. But the moment they cross the border and they are in that Abuja or Lagos, they'll begin to tell you how he's irrelevant, how he's this or that. Did you hear when his name was mentioned there? Yeah, that's actually what it is. Just so you know. An observation, right? And then finally, not finally yet, but pre-finally, is this, what's the SGFAB, Secretary to the Government of the Federation. Okay, that's George Akume. Now, you know, George Akume is the former governor, a very, very corrupt individual, by the way. Former governor of the Benue State, whose corrupt case disappeared the moment he became one of the Bokwari's sort of like close men. Today is the Secretary to the Government of Nigeria under Tinubu. And he had this to say about what is wrong with Peter Obi? Why is it just him? Is he the only person that is running for office? Like, why is he criticizing them pointedly? Like, so they met a very terrible economy. You inherited terrible economy from who? On the one hand, they will tell you that they inherited terrible economy. On the second hand, they will say Bokwari laid foundation, stability. The same Tinubu and his gang. The other day I said they will always say that they inherited a horrible economy, which is probably true, right? However, praising the same guy that you are condemning at the same time must be a sign of something. Akume
already said, it's like differences without division, rivalry in fellowship. We love this country, and we have to borrow from the example of Mr. President. He's a Muslim. He's at home with all of us, Christian, Muslims, traditionalists. Nigeria is a huge country on the move, and under his direction, we know that we are going to reach the promised land. I knew he inherited a very bad economy. We're out of it today. Our GDP is growing at 4.4%. It's a record, and what you have in our foreign reserve is also a record, from 0 to $42 billion. What is people who are hanging around talking about coming to rescue Nigeria? Which Nigeria? If Peter Obi could not rescue Anambra, he's talking about rescuing 36 states and Abuja. All these other people, I don't want to mention their names. They came, they saw, they didn't conquer, even in their states. I think you are a journalist, and you also have to ask questions. I know what the federal government is doing, and you should also be interested in what is taking place in the sub-nationalities as well. All we want to say, and rightly and correctly too, is that we are on the right track. We are being celebrated because we are doing the right thing under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The signs are already there. We're coming up. We're coming up. And strong.
Ishireni, of course. But there's something I want you to please pay attention to. The talking points of everyone around Tinubu. They are all talking the same way. You will feel it. You know, we are already coming out of the problems. The economy is bounced back. Our GDP is up. Our states are getting more money. All these people who are saying they want to come and rescue Nigeria, they don't even know what they cannot even rescue. Obi cannot even rescue Anambra. They all talk the same way. Repeat the same thing. Tinubu will tell you that the economy has turned the corner. Has turned the corner. Right? Wale Edun will be like, the economy has turned the corner now. Kadobi, Oduduwa, Emefiole, they say the economy is kind of like, it's coming out of the corner. It's coming out like the corner. Say, which corner? People are feeling it right now. Inflation is coming down. Geneko is coming down. You know, you can feel it. You can feel that we are getting there. Say, right. Joba feeling. Joba feeling. You feel it. You could feel it. You know they feel I know they feel more. Say, do like this. You feel come on, shake your hand and say, no. You're not feeling it. You don't know what they miss. That's Tinubu's government. We are feeling it. You have to feel it to understand it. But I thought they say seeing is believing. No. It's not always saying, you know, economy is not just about saying, it's about feeling it. You haven't met all these mad Ronukus. They are special breeds. Trust me. Anyway, I am going to leave early again tonight. And I want to say thank you to every one of you for your time again, as usual. Please just like, share, and subscribe if you haven't. Check yourself and see if you still have your notification. Because majority of people don't even see their notifications anymore. All right, click it. Unclick it and click it again. Reset up your notification, especially on YouTube. And you won't miss any of that. Of my Egun sessions, okay? So thank you very much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And I will see you again. Udaro.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Mayegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Lórí Facebook lórí YouTube. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Bó bá ṣe eré àní Mayegun máa wí. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Mayegun dayari politico. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Mayegun ti dé.
àní ẹ̀sùn làjú lórí YouTube àní ẹ̀sùn làjú bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́ àní ẹ̀sùn làjú ijó ìgbádìyẹ àní ẹ̀sùn làjú bí pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o àní ẹ̀sùn làjú bí gómìnà kówó jẹ àní ẹ̀sùn làjú ọlọ́pàá tí ń gba rìbá àní ẹ̀sùn làjú aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o àní ẹ̀sùn làjú òkúrọ̀ olóṣèlú àní ẹ̀sùn làjú ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀ oníkanṣá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o àyè.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Ìmọ̀ àìṣeré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣẹ̀fẹ̀. Ìmọ̀ àìṣeré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣẹ̀fẹ̀. Ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣà ìtú wọn síta.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Tẹnitẹni ọmọ Máyégún ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́run sọ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù. Lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù. Bọ́tà lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sì mọ́ bẹ̀. Èèpo ọ̀bọ lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ó ti jọba lórí àbínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ bùyà. Àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o ó kó ẹni tó bá dán wò á kàmù. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì o. Ẹni bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.